Get knocked, Sparta! No hug needed!
This is Omar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. It's a new week from when Tyson Fury defended his lineal Ring Magazine and WBC title at Wembley Stadium in front of 94,000 people. Frank, has it all kind of sunk in yet? What's happened?
Yeah, it was. It was a fabulous evening for Tyson. I was so delighted for him. All the fans seemed to have enjoyed themselves. It was. I think we put a good event together, and I thought Tyson put in a brilliant performance. I mean, a massive masterclass of boxing and finishing.
Yeah, I remember speaking to you at a media lunch a couple of weeks before the fight, and you said, tune into this fight because we're going to see a masterclass and an exceptional performance from Tyson. And it's exactly what we saw. A lot of questions before the fight about, you know, the war he had with Deontay Wilder in the third fight, if that was going to take anything out of him, but it clearly didn't.
He had a problem with his elbow going into that last Deontay Wilder fight. I mean, Tyson doesn't say anything about it, but I'm going to tell you, he did have a problem with his elbow, and he was 100% for this fight. And I think he said himself it's the best camp that he's had, and it showed. But he's not. I don't think he's reached his peak yet. I really don't think he's reached his peak yet. He's got such a fabulous boxing brain, and he worked out Dillian, before he got into the ring, and his plan that he put into place went to perfection. He worked on that jab. That was a fantastic jab that he had. The feinting, he was kidding him, just feinting him, letting the jab go. And come the sixth round, when it got to the sixth round, I think Dillian was a little bit perplexed by then. I think he was, he knew that he was in with a great fighter, and I think he just manoeuvred him and got him into the position where he was standing square on for that uppercut, and that's exactly how he caught him. Tyson's an extremely gifted boxer. He's one of a kind, and we should cherish him while he's here.
Well, Shane Fury made a good point straight after the fight. He was saying, don't call Dillian Whyte a bum, or don't say Dillian Whyte wasn't at his best on Saturday night. It was just because Tyson was too good in there and took Dillian's strengths away from him. Would you go along with that, Frank?
Yeah, he took Dillian. Dillian didn't get a chance to be at his best. That's what Tyson done. He didn't give him a chance. And he done it against Deontay in the second fight as well. He didn't give Deontay Wilder a chance to be his best. He took the fight away from him. And as I say, it was a spectacular performance, and it was a great night. I mean, it was a record crowd. I keep banging on about it, but it was a record crowd, and everybody sort of engaged, and I think he put on a great show for him. I think he put on a great performance.
Before we come back to Tyson, you said to me this was a big risk. It always is. When you put $41 million on the table, you don't know how the gate's going to do. You don't know how the pay-per-view is going to do. Just gone there, Frank.
Hang on, it's someone calling me. Let me kill it.
You're back in. I think.
Sorry, mate. Somebody's rang me, and I can't.
That's right.
Cut them.
That would be recording, so I'll just pick that back up. No, that would be recording.
Okay,
so, yeah, we'll have to do that again. Just picking this back up with Frank. Someone was giving him a call. I won't ask who it was. Yeah, you told me throughout this build up to the fight, it's always a risk when it comes to purse bids, and you stump a load of money down. And in this case, the highest amount that we've ever had in a fight in terms of boxing ring, $41 million. So in terms of the gate, how much do you think that brought in, Frank? Do you know yet, the gate?
Yeah, I mean, it was a record gate. I'm not going to tell you what the exact number is, but it was the record gate. But we didn't just stump up 41. Remember, what we had to pay as well was the rest of the show, hiring the venue and everything else that surrounds it, the security, all of it. So it was a very expensive show, but we think we've come out on the right side of it once we get all the figures in, which would take a while to do till you get the final numbers. But we're content with where we are with it.
Okay, you said it was a record gate in terms of any European sporting event. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay.
Absolutely correct.
You won't give me the exact figure on that one. Can you give me any indication about the BT Sport box office buys yet, please?
No, we haven't got them yet. They take a little bit longer. It's on BT and Sky. I mean, Sky subscribers could buy it as well. So when all those numbers come in, we'll know where we are. But yeah, we're all on the track to make sure we come out on the right side of it.
But at the end of the day, you're happy you put that $41 million down?
I'm very happy because we delivered an event for Tyson. It was a great homecoming. The fans come out in their thousands, and we could have sold many more tickets had we had a bigger venue. I'm delighted. I'm delighted for Tyson because, it's been a long, hard road back, and what he's done, the story about this fight was a lot about where Dillian's problems and where it had come from and all the problems and trials and tribulations, which he generally had. But also Tyson had a load of problems. He weren't given anything when he started out. He'd done it the hard way, and now it's all worked for him. It's all turned out for him, and he's in a good place. His family are all financially, him and his family are financially secure. He's got his place in boxing history. He doesn't. I know he says he doesn't care about that, but I think to be up there, with the greats of their generations is a fantastic achievement, and I'm sure deep down he's very proud to be mentioned in the same category as the Allies and the Frasers and the Foremans and the Mike Tysons and Lewises. They're all great, all fantastic fighters of their generations, and he's there with them now.
Well, yeah, he said Lennox Lewis would have been proud of that right uppercut.
Well, he would have been, wouldn't he? I like the way he set it up, though. The way he moved, he was the way he was boxing, how he just set Dillian up for it, and he caught him with it. And Dillian's a tough sod. I mean, he got off the floor. He wanted to carry on. He just unfortunately his legs had gone. But he wanted to carry on, and he did the best he could. I mean, on another night against another fighter, Dillian probably looked amazing, but it wasn't to be against the best guy, best heavyweight of his generation.
Aside from the spectacular performance Tyson put on, the crowd, I think the main takeaway from it was the ring walk, Tyson's ring walk, the production of it, the different tunes that Tyson was coming out to. The DJ, whoever it was, did a fantastic job mixing those tunes up. And also the fireworks, Frank. That was something to really soak in for the fans.
It was. Oh, God, what is going on here with this?
No, you're back. You're back.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Go on.
Yeah, the fireworks was really something to soak in for the fans.
Look, if you're going to do fireworks, you've got to do them properly. And that's what we did. We put a proper firework display on there for everybody. These ring walks and that. Ring walk, we started all this stuff with ring walks and music. And Tyson's friend, the DJ, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, he put that together, which was a really good track. And the rest of it, we all worked out between us. BT Rob, the director, and BT and his crew and whatever, and that they'd done a fantastic job in, between all of us to work out what we was going to do with the, with the Knights and the St George's Day theme, and it just worked out well. And the crowd lapped it up and loved it, and it created great atmosphere. And that was a little bit of a special night and a special occasion. That's how you do it.
Now, we know in the build-up to this fight, it was very difficult because Dillian wasn't playing ball. His team weren't happy with certain things, so they weren't participating in the promotion. In the end, really, with the last week and a half to go till the fight, I don't know if you agree with this, but it felt like Dillian was promoting the fight really well. He was doing interviews with BT, interviews on your YouTube channel. He was posting about it. Even his brother Dean Whyte was getting involved in the build-up. So obviously things had smoothened over. Would you agree that in the last week and a half, Dillian was good in this promotion?
He was. It's just a shame this didn't start from the beginning. The way it started out, I think that what they failed to understand is you have a negotiation period. If you can't agree that, then you go to purse bids. And whoever wins the purse bid has all the rights to the fight. And that's it. That's how it works out. And we've sort of done this quite a few times, going through what your rights are. The rest of it, if you change it, that's up to me as the promoter if I choose to want to do that. And had we had the ability to sit down properly with his team rather than all this antagonistic stuff from their side, we would have got over this. But at the end, Jay Patrick from his team and we met up and we sat down and we went through this. And there's no, of course, if someone say we're not going to let Dillian's mum come and all this stuff, it's just, total, it's ridiculous to even go there. Of course, we look after people. And we sorted it all out. But we did miss, though, the build-up. I mean, it was though we had the last, the week and a half, as you say, that was all there. But it'd have been even nicer to make it easier going forward, from day one. And had we been in that position to do that, rather than everybody spouting their mouths off who had nothing to do with the promotion, never put any money up, just Dillian and his immediate team, we could have dealt with it and sorted it out. But look, it is what it is. And it works out as far as I'm concerned. Me personally, and for working on behalf of Tyson, it works out how we how we thought it was going to be at the end. And he done, as I say, Tyson, done fantastically. But Dillian did play his part at the end, and he did do some good stuff. I'll see him afterwards as I come out. As I was driving out, he was coming through, and I just went over and just basically just give him a hug. Good luck to you, and in the future. And he's a gladiator. He's a warrior. He got in the ring and done what he had to do, and that was that. And funny thing is, it's probably off the wall thing this though, but the Wembley people who who run Wembley, their team called us and said they left their dressing room spotless.
Really,
it was a strange thing, but they said it's a real they sort of were quite impressed by that. But he was. Dillian, it's a shame. I think if Dillian and I had got together years ago, he would have fought for a world title. It wouldn't have taken him 2,000 years. He would have got the world title fight, and we would have, would have done it much earlier. But anyway, it wasn't meant to be, and we are where we are now. But I hope he's made a lot of money, and good luck to him. And I hope he wish him best for the future. But in the meantime, we move on. We got a show at York Hall this week, so it's like that's what this boxing is about. We go back to where you start with the fighters. So we're going back to the small hall, Bethnal Green, and hopefully the next star's going to come through on that show, and that's what we'll be doing this week and working hard on that. Got to sort out the main event now because we had to pinch the main event and put it on the show, which I feel, by the way, for Echo, and was a little bit of a. In some ways, it's great for him to be on a big show, or both of the guys, technically be on a big show. It done them a little bit of an injustice because they're training to make weight. We brought them forward a week. And, the benefit of hindsight, I probably wouldn't have done that. But we were struggling a bit when we lost one of the fights, when the opponent, visa got revoked. But anyway, it was a good night. And as I say, we move on to the next one now.
Yeah, you absolutely do. You'll call this. Is it this Friday night or Saturday? You going Friday or Saturday?
Friday, yeah, Friday. Yeah.
Friday night, live on BT. I'm going to come on to Tyson's future in a second, but you were talking about Dillian there, and from his post since the fight, it looks like Dillian will want to fight on. Now he's got the choice to make whether he signs with Boxer and Sky, with Matchroom and DAZN, or there could be a potential where he signs with yourself, Frank. I only say that because he's just fought in your show. You've got a lot of top class heavyweights, which you could make some good fights with Dillian in. So are you going to be speaking to Dillian's people about potentially making him an offer?
Look, as you quite rightly say, we've got some really good heavyweights there. And, with Joe, with Daniel, David Adelaide's coming through, a few of the other guys, we're in good shape as far as that department's concerned. There's some good fights, certainly some good domestic fights to be made there. And I'm sure Dillian against one of the guys would be a big fight. Absolutely. We've already announced hopefully where we are with Joe. There's going to be no ordinary Joes on that show, is there? It's going to be Joe Parker and Joe Joyce. That's going to be a decent fight too. I think that's going to be a cracker.
So what's the hold up with the official announcement of that one, please, Frank? Parker and
Joyce.
Joyce.
Wait to get to finalise the contracts on it. I mean, I don't particularly like doing this. I mean, in the past we've announced fights based upon people's words, and sometimes that comes back to bite you on the arse. But I think everybody seems to be quite honourable, and we can get that done and get it over the line. And I think it's going to be a really good fight. I'm really looking forward to see our Joe back in action against the other Joe. Well, he's become our Joe now because he's going to sign with us. So it's going to be a cracking fight. I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, so you've therefore got Joe Joyce, Joseph Parker, Daniel Dubois, and also David Adelaide, who's at a different stage. But those 4 heavyweights, we know Tyson's with you, but at the moment he's retired. We'll come on to that in a second. But those 4 heavyweights are in your stable right now.
Yeah, they're under our umbrella, so we're looking forward to some good nights with them all. Some good fights. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the WBA to get this thing over the line with Daniel, because Don King appealed the splits, but I expect we get some news today or tomorrow, and he's got to put that fight on in June. Yeah, excuse me. Both boxers have been waiting very patiently, so DK's now got to step up and deliver it.
Well, let's see if Don King does that, and so you got Daniel Dubois hopefully on Don King's show in June, and then what we're looking at for Parker Joyce, more July time.
July. Yeah.
Okay. Now, in terms of Tyson Fury, he's just broken the record gate, as you said, for a sporting event in Europe. A lot of the reporters on the night were saying you're only getting better and better. I'm sure you go along with that as well. So I'm not talking about in terms of a promotional point of view, where obviously you want Tyson to carry on. But if he's going to retire, do you think that's a shame from a fan's point of view? Because he's only getting better and better, and look at the stadiums he's selling out, etc. Do you think that's a shame if he retires for the fans?
Yeah, I do, because I don't think he's reached his peak yet. I really don't. I think he's still, he's done really well with Sugar Hill. He's settled down. Fighters, when they start out, they got certain style, and some fighters do manage to. He's a great boxer. He's got a great. I'm always banging on about it. He's got fantastic, boxing brain. He's very graceful in the ring. He's got fast hands. He can switch. He's got all those things going for him. And I think, with Sugar Hill, he's added a real new dimension to his boxing. And he's very comfortable with Sugar. And he gave him a lot of praise for what he's added to his arsenal. And I think I just feel that there are still some good fights to be made. But you know what? If a fighter feels in his heart that he's done it, he's been there, and he doesn't really want to be doing it anymore, then he shouldn't. Because that, as I've said on many occasions, is when you get hurt. When you get into that ring, you need to get into there for the right reasons. It can't be for vanity. So I don't like, these. I was looking at all these fights coming back. I love Ricky Hatton. We're good buddies and all that. I prefer he didn't fight, but I don't like all that stuff. I really don't like seeing that happen. But, some fighters can't get it out their blood. And for Tyson, what I'd hate to do is to retire now and then come back in a few years' time, miss it and come back. If he's going to do it, he should go. If it's all over, then it should be all over. I would hate him to sort of think, in 2-3 years' time, I'm going to come back again, because he'd be 2-3 years older, obviously. And at the moment, his powers. The powers and his boxing brain, everything what it is now, is nearly coming to the pinnacle. I think there's still a bit more there, and there's still a couple of good fights for him to have if he wants them. But as I say, at the end of the day, he's got to have the mind and the mentality to want to box on, otherwise it's pointless.
So, in layman's terms, there you're saying either if you want to call it a day, you've done everything in this sport, you've broken records, go out now and live your life with your family. Or if you're going to feel like you're going to come back for one more or two more, maybe fight the winner of Usyk Joshua at the end of this year, maybe the Francis Ngannou fight as well. Is that really realistic, do you think?
Well, there's a lot of talk about it. We brought him along, he's there, and who knows where that goes, but we will see. But it's all too soon. The fight's only a couple of days ago. I spoke to him this morning. He was all good. He said he was still on a high. And so, when he's ready to talk about what he, wants to talk about the future, he'll do that, when he's ready to do it. So that's where we are. And I wish him well, whatever he decides to do. But it's been a real pleasure and a privilege to be on that journey. We've had a real good, it's been a good time. From the start, when he was that big guy, 10, 11 stone over the weight he is now, to where he, till today, it's been just it's been an amazing journey.
When you look back at recent times in terms of a boxing point of view, you'd say Canelo Alvarez, Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua are the biggest stars we've got in this sport. At this present time, would you say Tyson Fury is number one?
Yeah, I would do. Canelo's amazing. He's got that fanatic Mexican following, but then Tyson's got a fanatic British following, as we see on Saturday night.
And American.
Yeah, and American, yeah. And I just feel that the big there's that old adage: there's heavyweight boxing and there's boxing, and that's really how it's really always been over the years. And Tyson is the man at the moment. I mean, that was that performance on Saturday and the event was a fantastic tribute to him. And Canelo's a great fighter. I mean, he's a great fighter. There's no doubt about that. We've done most of these fights on BoxNation. He's still there. And he's still up. Still in big fights. It'll be interesting to see, how he does now. Having won his last few fights on the zone, is he going to carry on doing that? I don't know what he's going to do, but he is going to run out of opponents soon as well, by the looks of it.
Okay, my last question on Tyson Fury, aside from being, in your opinion, the biggest superstar in the sport, I just want to compare his resume against Anthony Joshua's. I'm just going to list you some key names, or key wins rather, that both men have had. So if I read out Joshua's key wins, they go along as Klitschko, White, Parker, Povetkin, Ruiz, of course, in the rematch, and Kubrat Pulev. If I look at Fury's key wins, I go Klitschko, Wilder. Obviously, a lot of people think Wilder 3 times because of the first fight. Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora twice, and Otto Wallin. Who's got the better resume?
Well, I think Tyson. I mean, you look at when they fight, and when Tyson fought Klitschko, that was 18 months nearly. I'm not sure the exact time. 2 years before Joshua did. He was a better fighter. And Tyson went over and done it in his backyard. He was based in Germany. His fights were all in Germany. He went and done it in front of 50,000 fans, and went and took it to school out in Germany. And he was the best heavyweight of his generation. And you look how Tyson fought him. I mean, he never got a look in Klitschko. And then you look at Klitschko against Joshua. If he'd had had the legs that he had maybe when he was fighting Tyson, he might have finished the fight when he put him down. But he got up. Credit to Anthony Joshua. He got off the canvas, took the fight back to him. But he just didn't. He did. I think he could have stopped him. An old Klitschko would have stopped him. But anyway, can't take away from Joshua. He won the fight. I think did Dillian Whyte improve after fighting AJ? I think he did, and I think Dillian Whyte. I think Joshua had a tougher fight with Dillian Whyte certainly than Tyson. That's for sure. Dillian Whyte's fights with Derek Chisora. I mean, the first one I thought Chisora just nicked it. I thought the second one, if Dillian didn't clip him, I think he was behind. Yeah, but Tyson took him, beaten the first time, and the second time he absolutely took him to school. In fact, he'd done the same job on him there. In some ways, it was a bit like watching the early rounds of the Chisora fight, how he jabbed him and picked him apart. So I've got to say Tyson. I mean, people say I'm biased. Everyone's got their opinion, but I think anybody who knows a bit about boxing would think that he would be better fight. If they fought tomorrow, who would be the bookie's favourite? Who would you put your money on?
Okay, that answers that one. Now, in terms of the card, you got a lot of criticism, Frank, before Saturday night about the undercard. How do you think it was, the card?
I thought it was okay, the card. I mean, I'm not going to, look, we spent a lot of money on the show, on all of it. I've told you that. What would you much rather seen that fight that Nick Ball had with Tyson's cousin, which was a cracking fight? Would you much rather seen that, or me finding a nice knockover for one of our marquee names? We couldn't, we couldn't do that, and I wanted Anthony Yard on that card, but we didn't want to risk the the position he's in, which you get a cut eye, anything can happen in fights, as we know. He's the mandatory to the Verbatiev and Joe Smith unification fight. So I didn't want to jeopardise that. And had he fought on that card, I wouldn't have put him in with anything in that's too challenging, to be very honest about it, because why would I do that? It'd be crazy. And we was unfortunate we lost Kukachi and Romero. That would have been a good quality fight, but unfortunately he had a visa problem, and we couldn't get anybody in at short notice to replace him.
Will
so
he look to get Kukachi out soon? Sorry to interrupt. Will he look to get Anthony?
Yeah, I'm working on that today. Of course I do. I'm very disappointed for him. I mean, you imagine you're on that undercard and then suddenly you're not there. It was terrible for Anthony. I was absolutely devastated for him. But it is what it is. But look, the undercard, we put 7 or 8 fights? I can't remember how many was on there. They were on there, and that's what we put on. There was some decent fights on there. I thought that was a competitive fight with Echo. I thought it was a very competitive fight, and I haven't got no problems with that. At the end of the day, we put our eggs in a massive basket in bidding for that fight, and we delivered.
What did you think of Tommy Fury and David Adelaide's performances?
I thought David, once he started going, did what he had to do against the fellow who's normally quite durable. He put together some nice shots, and the referee did what he had to do. I thought Tommy got the cobwebs out of his system. He'd been out for quite a while, coming back from that rib injury and his time out, and obviously the disappointment of pulling out the fight against Jake Paul, which, by the way, he still wants. So if Jake, if you're watching this, or if anybody knows him, tell him it's there to be done. He did what he had to do. So he's got to be stepped up now, though. We've got to step him up, and he's going to fight Paul or he'll fight somebody else. But he's, every fight now has got to be stepped up.
Okay, and just before we close, I'll get some quick updates, please, on the futures of Anthony Yarde and David Avanesyan. So we know both of them are waiting for their world title shots, but are they going to do anything in the interim, Frank? Are you going to get them out or not?
Look, I've got to meet with Tunde and with Anthony, and they're going to make their mind up whether they want to wait for the outcome of that fight or have one in between. That's going to be their call. Me, I'd like to see him out, but that's going to be something we'll discuss. And as for David, just want to keep him busy. I'm hoping the WBC will put him into an eliminator or make him into the mandatory and just get it on. I'll tell you what, it'd be a great fight if the WBC was to make him against Conor Benn as a final eliminator. That'd be a great fight for the fans.
Yeah, they're both highly ranked with the BC, aren't they?
Yeah. No one can complain then. There's certainly something to go for. There's something at the end of that if they were to do that.
Will you be lobbying the WBC to do that potentially?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I would think both sides should be lobbying the WBC. Why wouldn't they do that? The winner. I mean, the thing, the other side's thinking about this has been that what's in it for them? Well, that would be a world title shot. That's what would be in it for them. Becoming a mandatory. Haven't got to worry about giving options away. You just get straight. You just do the fight, and then you're your own man.
I bumped into Conor Benn at your show on Saturday, Frank, at Fury White.
Was he there?
Did you not see him?
No, I never see him. No, well, that's a shame. I'd like to have seen him. No.
That is a shame. I thought you might have had a quick chat about certain things, but
no, he was there, and if I'd have known, I'd have made a fuss of it.
Quick one on Isaac Lowe and Nick Ball as well. I believe Isaac's making comments that the rematch is going to happen. Is that true, Frank?
No, he said that to me afterwards. We'll see what goes on. He's going to say, it was. He took shots. He had a bad cut. It was a terrible cut, and I think Nick Ball really showed what he was made of. It was a brilliant performance, and it was a very brave performance from Isaac as well. I mean, he didn't give up, did he? He's a tough sod. Kept coming forward. He was obviously believable. I thought Nick really steps up and looked really good. And I think he's got a good future ahead of him.
Yeah, definitely did impress on a big stage. So before we end, we know you've got not officially announced yet, but very close to be a summer sizzler with Joyce and Parker in July. We know you've got Zach Parker and Demetrius Andrade, another stadium fight in May, which is a brilliant fight, May 21st. And we got your card this Friday at your call. What else have we got in between that? Anything else planned?
Yeah, we've got a few other fights planned. I mean, we had a good day on Saturday. I had a treble on Saturday. Arsenal beat Man United. Tyson was unhappy about that. Obviously, Tyson was the big thing, and we announced our new deal with BT, our extension of our deal with BT. So we're there for it. We've got a long-term deal there, and we'll be announcing that formally. So I'm giving it's up. So we're announcing that formally. We're going to do something on Wednesday, but we've got a new long-term deal.
Oh, that's a bit of an exclusive. That's so. So your boxing will stay on BT Sport. Can you tell me how many years that potentially is?
I think altogether, I think it's 4. I think it's 4, including what we've got left on the contracts. I think it's about 4 years.
Okay. Well, you did have a good Saturday.
Well, that's what it is, because I've got to just be reminded of that. But I think it's another 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, you did have a treble on Saturday. Surprisingly, Arsenal found some form. I don't know where this all come from, but.
Well, I don't know where it comes from. I mean, they're talking about up and down. It's unbelievable. Those 3 terrible results, then they pulled it off. So, well, against Chelsea and Man United, but then you can't beat the lower team. So, but we did. It was good. It was a good day out. Good day out. Exhausting, but a very gratifying day out.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you could even do this interview, Frank. I mean, I thought you'd be shattered.
Well, I'm an old bastard, but I've still got a little bit left in me. I hope and I feel.
Well, Frank Warren, thank you very much for your time. Just to let everyone know, I couldn't come into the office because I actually got a flight today, so that's why we had to do this over Zoom. But we managed to get through it, and I'm sure we'll speak soon. All right, all the best. And
you, safe flight, mate, and I'll see you when you get back.
You're getting knocked, Sparta. No hug needed.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.